What's going on, guys? We're in another Homestead here on the local South Carolina Homestead tour, and we're in Williston, South Carolina. It's probably about an hour away from my house. Beautiful drive out here. I love when I get to come places, and it's like just a great back roads drive where you get to see what most people don't get to see. We're here with
Margot, Huggins.
And I'm Bradley.
So what's the name of your establishment?
We call it Rivendell Farms, but
Okay.
that's because when we lived in Lexington, we lived on Rivendell Drive.
Okay.
And
Nice.
so that's how we got started, is we lived in Lexington on a postage stamp property with a big house, and we had raised garden beds.
What was the first thing that you grew?
Carrots?
I'm surprised it wasn't tomatoes. I feel like tomatoes are like the chickens of gardening. You know, when you first start homesteading, you got chickens, and then when you first start gardening, you grow tomatoes.
They're also probably the most difficult place to start,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right.
If you really want to start,
Yeah.
then you should do a fall garden.
Yeah,
They're easy
definitely.
and less pest pressure.
Right. That's what I did this year. This is my first. So going into this spring will be my first real garden.
Okay.
Okay.
And but during spring and winter, I planted my cabbages, carrots, Brussels sprouts, things like that.
Oh, wow.
Simple little things.
How are your Brussels sprouts?
Well, okay, so this is a funny story. So at first, when I planted my Brussels, I started from seed, and I was excited when they sprouted, and then I planted them and had a couple of escaped chickens, and so they kind of tore up 3 of them. And so I have a you ever heard of green stalk raised garden? No, okay, so it's a planter basically, and it's on different tiers. Got 5 tiers.
Okay.
It's pretty neat. So I planted lettuce in this and like my carrots,
Like
and
the four cups on each
Yeah.
side, and they stack.
Something like
Okay,
that.
Yeah, I know what
okay.
you're talking
Yeah.
about.
It's really neat. It's a really cool thing. But I planted this random plant that sprouted late, and I was like, I'm not. I think it was a cabbage. So let me plant this in the green stalk and see if this cabbage will grow. And just like 4 days ago, I walk over to it and I'm watering my cabbage, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a Brussels sprout. and so I have little Brussels sprouts starting on my green. So it's doing well, but not like, it hasn't produced a whole bunch yet.
I would think something like that would need a huge root system.
I believe it probably
Yeah.
would. So I'm not expecting it to do the greatest. It's probably only like
But
12
look, you
inches.
grew something,
Right.
right? That's
Right, that's
where
what-
you start.
That's what I was so
where you
excited
start.
about, was the fact that like I started it from seed and it grew.
Yeah.
Like step 1, I win.
Yep.
And so
We start pretty much everything here from seed, unless we, for some reason, get behind.
Mhm.
So.
So this is what this little greenhouse that we're standing in front of is now.
So this is some of it, and this is like not really how we started, but we're sort of hardening off out here.
Right.
What do you have in yours?
Broccoli, some lettuce that never did anything. Those are her flowers in the middle, and on the back end there is leaf lettuces.
So I got into flower farming last year. We call this a farmette. We probably are on another level than some people, but I work with farmers, so this is low scale for what I'm used to as a farm goes. But anyway, I started flower farming last year, and now I'm all into it. I just started basically with zinnias and pro cut sunflowers, the pollenless kind. I had some marigolds,
Cosmos.
My wife wants those. We have seeds. We did a seed swap and sent her some, so we're gonna do those.
They're real easy
Yeah.
to grow.
Now, are you doing like cut flowers?
Mhm.
So you're selling them at?
What I did is I went online and I on our little Facebook page, which is at Rivendell Farms with an S and then SC, so it's 2 S's right after each other. And it's a fun page, and people can follow what we do. We try to involve our kids. So I put a little post that said, hey, if anybody wants to do a bouquet CSA, I'll deliver a bouquet in season 6 or 8 weeks for $25. So I did that with a couple friends, and I hope to be doing a cut flower class a couple times here.
I'll be there.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't know if I want to do like. I don't know. I definitely am working on doing like companion planting and then getting more flowers into the garden to bring in your your beneficial
Yes.
insects and things like that. So, but I think it'll also be cool to do both, like
Yeah.
where you can grow them. They're benefiting you. You can turn around and sell them and things like that. So yeah,
it's beautiful. It's a lot of work though.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Right.
But it's also fun because you're planting things in the garden and direct seeding in the garden, and then doing the starting transplants totally different times than you are
Right.
with your vegetable garden. We try to start all of our plants because of weed pressure. We found, and
So right now we're in your garden that's bigger than my house.
same.
I feel like that's the way it goes, right? You plant a garden bigger than your house so that you can keep your tummies full.
Yep.
So what do we have in the garden right now?
I just started carrots.
These are carrots.
Yeah.
Just did carrots today here, and I started English peas. I'm testing out these hoop trellis deal, whatever. Or what do we call them?
Cattle panel.
Yeah.
So there's always something going on.
Yeah.
He has a water project that we're gonna try to get in this year. Like every year we try to make some goals. Like last year was the greenhouse, and then this year's the water setup and the loofah setup. So we shall see. This is all behind us. These are flowers that I planted, and this was an experiment. So some of the experiment went really well, and some went very poorly. But
And what did you experiment with?
I direct seeded flowers for the first time, so I think it was at the end of September, and basically before
Overwintering season flowers.
they overwinter.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they will come off early spring once it starts warming up. So there was another row here, and over there's a row that nothing happened. Those are snapdragons. The second row.
Mulch in here. Y'all don't use like wood chips or leaves. Y'all just
No.
come in here and
So all this soil comes from the next town over. The company is called Humble Acres Organics.
Humble Acres Organics.
Yep.
Okay.
I actually help the man. It's a family farm. I help him sell this stuff, but I do that because we've used it and we're full-on believers. We could never grow peppers, and last year we had 2 dump trucks put in here last January and spread, and we grew the hang out of peppers.
Now, do you know what their area is that they deliver?
Yes, pretty much the whole state within 175 miles. They
Perfect.
have a 16 cubic yard dump truck, and you can get a tractor trailer truck too.
Right there.
But he's also in stores. He sells bag product.
Okay. Okay.
So he has like a web store. You can go online and place your orders.
Well,
and
definitely-
he will
definitely
deliver
we'll
it
link
right
that.
to you.
Yeah.
He will deliver it
That's
right
great.
to you. So snapdragons, blue perium, larkspur. These are poppies. This was supposed to be a row of delphinium that didn't come up, and this is one of my favorites. It's bells of Ireland.
Okay.
So, and then we'll have zinnias, and there's a bunch of snapdragons in there, some false Queen's Anne lace. I mean, it's gonna get ridiculous. And then in all these beds around the garden are perennials. So the perennial flowers that I've planted, perennial herbs. These beds that look like they're empty have gladiolas in them.
Wow.
I mean, this place is.
Yeah, so you're really going full force into the flowers.
I
So all these,
like flowers.
yeah, so all these will be for the cut flowers, or
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep, and I've started last year to sort of build a relationship with some of the local florists. So if I have a bunch of extra, I'll sell to them. So
That's awesome.
it's a hobby that I would like to break even on.
Yeah.
Same
So-
with the gardening.
So you're mainly selling them from your Facebook group, but then what you don't have left, or what you have left, you are trying to get with your florist.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah.
And
I'll
I mean, it's very infancy stages, but I mean, I can take you in our dining room. I went and got like, how many vases do I have in there? I don't know, 50 or 60 for like $5
Right.
from the local thrift store.
Well,
So
that's awesome.
it's, I don't know. I
Hey, I
like
mean,
it.
you gotta start. And it seems like you're very passionate about it. So
am.
it's definitely
I
I
am.
can see it's gonna do well for you because of how
Thanks. I hope
passionate
so.
you are for it.
Well, he's the vegetable person, pretty much.
Yeah, I
so
gotta fight for my veggies now. She's
Yeah.
taking over my
So you're gonna
sage.
start taking over your spot.
I would have 2 of these. We've this garden's in a quadrant.
Uh-huh.
I would have 2 of the quadrants if you'd let me.
So I'm kind of evolving in how we approach weed control.
Mhm.
Do some traditional cultivation with my wheel hose.
Right.
But I'm also not shy about
Yeah. Now this is.
using fabric mulch.
I'm doing pretty much the same thing when I'm with mine because I like this. It's a lot cleaner. But I do have wood chips because I have a buddy of mine who owns a tree trimming service. So I'm gonna pretty much do my rows around my like where I'm gonna plant with the fabric, and then where I'm walking, I'm just gonna use wood chips to keep heavy mulch on that because it'd be easier for me to just pick up where I'm walking or keep it stomped down from me walking on it than trying to always weed around these and.
Yeah.
This keeps things going pretty well. So
We run irrigation lines underneath.
yeah, subsurface irrigation.
So how long did y'all been here for 4.5 years? You said you moved here, moved to this area from Lexington. Now, how long did it take you to establish what
There
you
was
have here?
nothing here.
No.
So, well, very, very small. So
Yeah,
it's taken, and each year we do something different. Each year, our tree man loves us because each year I have like spent like $2,000 to get trees cut down. So
Yeah, right.
I think
We've
we're
probably
done.
taken down
How big of a
10,
spot are
12
you?
years.
The
The main garden is 5,500 square feet, and then I think in the raised beds we might have another 350 square feet.
The acreage here is about 2
Okay.
acres.
That's yeah.
Oh yeah, we did these silage tarps this past year because we're trying to, push the weeds back even more, and it's supposed to heat up the ground and
It kills
sterilize
everything off,
everything.
and
Yeah, it does a good job.
we'll see.
They're
This
a
first
pain to use though.
yearly cycle I've gotten them done. Well, I laid these down I think last August, maybe September.
So all this bed and over here.
Yeah. This I just uncovered today, this morning, and all I had to do was I raked it out real nice and experimenting a couple different ways with carrots. That's one of the more difficult things I've found to grow is carrots. But on these two, I like to mix the seeds with sand and then shake them out, and that gives you a good even distribution instead of trying to do it with your fingers.
Oh, okay. I never
And
thought of
then cover it with a layer of vermiculite so the seeds aren't kind of stifled underneath soil. And then on this one, I used this cedar we got this year.
This is the first use.
Yep, first use.
So
and
we give a lot of
seeing
our
how
money to this company called Haas.
that. Yep. A lot of people like Haas tools.
Yeah,
I've got a couple seeds from them. I like them.
Yeah, he just got a box of something, seeds or whatever in the mail, but we have 2 wheel hosts, a high arch one and a non-high arch one, and then this, which hopefully will help us this year. We'll see.
No, I'm sure you got a big spot. You don't want to be on your hands and knees
No.
trying to.
yeah,
We've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And I want to show people our raised beds because people kept asking us about these raised beds. So these corner blocks are Old Castle corner blocks. You can get them at Home Depot. And so what we do is we get 2 of them. They're like $3 a piece. You get a piece of 2-foot rebar, 2 by
it's a half-inch.
half inch. And then you can make any size bed you want. As you can see, we have some smaller ones in the back.
So these are all your beds are done with these same. That's
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, that's a great.
And then you get, this is a 2 by 6 inch, and then you can get, I can make one of these beds if I go to our local hardware store and they'll pre-cut whatever I want. So I can put one of these beds together and fill it with compost and the compost is the hardest part in like an hour. But we, put the landscape fabric underneath it so there's no weeds growing up through it, but they're phenomenally easy. Maybe they're not like the most beautiful.
They look great. They're
Well, thanks.
especially with what you're planting them, and they're very uniform and they're straight. Heck, I just did a raised bed. Went to a sawmill in Aiken and got all their first cuts, and that's what my raised bed is. So thank you for letting me come out and learn and teach me about everything that you're doing here. I look forward to telling my wife all about it so I can start. And thank y'all for hanging out with us, and we'll catch you in the next one.